Hi, I'm Robert Tester. I'm one of the carpentry teachers at Science Hill High School, and today what I want to talk about is the operation of the SawStop table saw. Okay, with the table saw, it's reported that 60,000 people are injured every year with the table saw. That works out to about 1 injury per every 9 seconds. So with the table saw, it goes without saying that it's a saw that needs to be respected, and you need to use extra care when using it. When we use a table saw in the shop, what we're doing is we're making rip cuts. Now, a cut like that is a cut along the length of the board. The table saw will also do a cross cut across the grain, but for my class and the way we use the table saw in the shop, we focus primarily on rip cuts. When we make a rip cut on the table saw, the accessory that we need to use when doing that is the rip fence. Now, this accessory has a release lever here that allows you to slide the rip fence back and forth to get different widths on your board. So depending on whatever you're using or whatever size board you need to cut, it's got a dial down here that shows you how wide the board needs to be. So once you get it set, you lock it down into place like I did, just there, and the board has to be up against the fence and ride snugly up against that fence the full way through. You may be able to see here with this dial that you can slide this dial back and forth until the needle hits on the measurement that you need. So for instance, if I wanted to make a 7-inch cut, I would line that dial up on the 7 and then lock it down. Now, when you rip a board, the blade needs to be no more than 1 tooth above the wood. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower the blade till approximately 1 tooth is above the wood. Before I make the cut on the board though, I need to talk a little bit about safety. One of the things you need to do if you have loose clothing on, if you're wearing a tie, if you have a lanyard, you need to take those and tuck them in your shirt, or if you have long hair, it needs to be pulled back. Also, if you have long sleeves, they need to be rolled up so that they're out of the way, so that they wouldn't get caught into the blade and pull you into it. The other thing that you need to be concerned about, and all my students need to do this when they use any of my saws, they need to use safety glasses. Okay, I have the safety glasses in place. Now, the guard, all right, the blade has a guard here that needs to go down and shield the blade to keep any stray fingers or anybody getting into the blade. This part here just shows that the height is good. You know, we adjusted the blade down to where it was 1 tooth above the wood. Okay, that's kind of an extra guide there to let you know where that's at. Okay, to turn on the saw, you got to go to the switch here, turn this switch on, and you'll notice that it goes through a set of blinking lights. You got the green light, you got the red light. Now you have to wait until the red light stops before it's ready to go. Okay, the red light's done. Now to activate the blade, you have to pull this paddle out. Another safety procedure is when you're pushing the wood through the saw, you don't want to stand behind the wood. Okay, you want to stand kind of perpendicular to the saw, and then you want to feed the board through it. Alright, when you're ready to make a cut, the hand placement is very important. You want to keep your left hand planted firmly on the table. Okay, your hand doesn't move. What it's doing is it's keeping the board down, and also you're going to put a little pressure against the fence, because again, remember the board has to run against the fence to stay straight. So you plant that hand, and your right hand does the pushing through there, okay? Now when you get to a point that your right hand is at the table, all right, to be safe, it's better to take a push stick, hook it onto the wood, and then push it the rest of the way through. That way your right hand is not following the board into the blade. And you push with the push stick to take the board the rest of the way out. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and make a cut, and I'm going to cut this bad spot out of this board. Okay, I've showed you a few things on how to set up a table saw, how to run a board through it safely. The kind of cuts that we make in my class and in my shop is we're making rip cuts, which is a cut along the grain of the wood. So if you are careful with the saw, you use the safety tips I gave you, you use the right procedures, you get rid of any loose clothing, roll up your sleeves, put on your safety glasses, you should be safe with my saw. Okay, again, it's the SawStop table saw. It's one of the best saws in the industry. It's safe, it's reliable, it's one of the strongest saws in the industry as well. So if it's used properly and safely, it can be one of the best tools that you have in the wood shop. Again, I'm Robert Tester with Science Hill High School.